The Mormon Bible consists of 15 books, being the books of Jacob, Enos, Jerome, Omni, Mosiah, Zeniff, Alma, Helaman, Ether, Moroni, 2 books of Mormon, and 3 of Nephi. In the first book of Nephi is a plagiarism of the Old Testament, which gives an account of the exodus from Jerusalem of the children of Lehi, and it goes on to tell of their wanderings in the wilderness during 8 years and their supernatural protection by one of their number, a party by the name of Nephi. They finally reached the land of Bountiful and camped by the sea. After they had remained there for a space of many days, which is more scriptural than definite, Nephi was commanded from on high to build a ship whereon to carry the people across the waters. He travesties Noah's ark, but he obeyed orders in the matter of the plan. He finished the ship in a single day, while his brethren stood by and made fun of it, and of him too, saying, Our brother is a fool, for he thinketh that he can build a ship. They did not wait for the timbers to dry, but the whole tribe or nation sailed the next day. Then a bit of genuine nature cropped out, and it revealed outspoken Nephi with scriptural frankness. They all got on a spree. They, and also their wives, began to make themselves merry, insomuch that they began to dance, and to sing, and to speak with much rudeness. Yea, they were lifted up unto exceeding rudeness. Nephi tried to stop these scandalous proceedings, but they tied him neck and heels, and went on with their lark. But observe how Nephi the prophet circumvented them by the aid of the invisible powers. And it came to pass that after they had bound me, insomuch that I could not move, the compass which had been prepared of the Lord did cease to work, wherefore they knew not whither they should steer the ship, insomuch that there arose a great storm, yea, a great and terrible tempest, and we were driven back upon the waters for the space of 3 days. And they began to be frightened exceedingly, lest they should be drowned in the sea. Nevertheless they did not lose me, and on the 4th day which we had been driven back, the tempest began to be exceeding sore, and it came to pass that we were about to be swallowed up by the depths of the sea. Then they untied him. And it came to pass, after they had loosened me, behold, I took the compass, and it did work whither I desired it. And it came to pass that I prayed unto the Lord, and after I had prayed, the winds did cease, and the storm did cease, and there was a great calm. Equipped with their compass, these ancients appeared to have the advantage of Noah. Their voyage was toward a promised land, the only name they give it. They reached it in safety. Polygamy is a recent feature in the Mormon religion, and was added by Brigham Young after Joseph Smith's death. Before that, it was regarded as an abomination. This verse from the Mormon Bible occurs in chapter 2 of the book of Jacob. For behold, thus saith the Lord, this people begin to wax in iniquity. They understand not the Scriptures, for they seek to excuse themselves in committing whoredoms, because of the things which were written concerning David and Solomon his son. Behold, David and Solomon truly had many wives and concubines, which thing was abominable before me, saith the Lord. Wherefore thus saith the Lord, I have led this people forth out of the land of Jerusalem, by the power of mine arm, which I raised up unto me a righteous branch from the fruit of the loins of Joseph. Wherefore I, the Lord God, will now suffer that his people shall do like unto them of old. However, the project failed, or at least the modern Mormon end of it, for Brigham suffers it. This verse is from the same chapter. Behold the Lamanites, your brethren, whom ye hate because of their filthiness, and the cursings which hath come upon their skins are more righteous than you. For they have not forgotten the commandment of the Lord which was given unto their fathers, that they should have, save it were one wife, and concubines they should have none. The following verse from chapter 9 of the book of Nephi appears to contain information not familiar to everybody. And now it came to pass that when Jesus had ascended into heaven, the multitude did disperse, and every man did take his wife and his children, and did return to his own home. And it came to pass on the morrow, when the multitude was gathered together, behold, Nephi and his brother, whom he had raised from the dead, whose name was Timothy, and also his son, whose name was Jonas, and also Mathoni and Mathoniah, his brother, and Cumin, and Cuminahi, and Jeremiah, and Sheman, and Jonas, and Zedekiah, and Isaiah. Now these were the names of the disciples whom Jesus had chosen. In order that the reader may observe how much more grandeur and picturesque, as seen by these Mormon 12, accompanied on of the tenderest episodes in the life of our Savior than other eyes seem to have been aware of, I quote the following from the same book of Nephi. And it came to pass that Jesus spake unto them, and bade them arise. And they arose from the earth, and he said unto them, Blessed are ye because of your faith. And now behold, my joy is full. And when he had said these words, he wept, and the multitude bare record of it. And he took their little children one by one, and blessed them, and prayed unto the Father for them. And when he had done this, he wept again, and he spake unto the multitude, and saith unto them, Behold your little ones. And as they looked to behold, they cast their eyes towards heaven, and they saw the heavens open, and they saw angels descending out of heaven, as it were in the midst of fire. And they came down and encircled these little ones about, and they were encircled about with fire. And the angels did minister unto them, and the multitude did see and hear and bear record, and they know that their record is true, for they all of them did see and hear, every man for himself, and they were in number about 2,500 souls, and they did consist of men, women, and children. And what else would they be likely to consist of? The Book of Ether is an incomprehensible medley of history, much of it relating to battles and sieges among the peoples whom the reader has possibly never heard of, who inhabited a country which is not set down in the geography. There was a king with a remarkable name of Coriantumr, and he warred with Sharid and Lib and Shiz and others in the plains of Heshlon, and the valley of Gilgal, and the wilderness of Achish, and the land of Moran, and the plains of Agosh and Ogoth, and Ramah, and the land of Corior, and the hill Comner, by the waters of Riplicum, etc., etc., etc. And it came to pass, after deal of fighting, that Coriantumr, upon making calculation of his losses, found that there had been slain 2,000,000 of mighty men, and also their wives and their children, say 5,000,000 or 6,000,000 in all. And he began to sorrow in his heart. Unquestionably it was time. So he wrote to Shiz, asking a cessation of hostilities, and offering to give up his kingdom to save his people. Shiz declined, except upon condition that Coriantumr would come and let him cut his head off first, a thing which Coriantumr would not do. Then there was more fighting for a season. Then 4 years were devoted to gathering the forces for a final struggle, after which ensued a battle, which, I take it, is the most remarkable set forth in history, except perhaps that of the Kilkenny cats, which it resembles in some respects. This is the account of that gathering and the battle. And it came to pass that they did gather together all the people upon all the face of the land who had not been slain, save it was Ether. And it came to pass that Ether did behold all the doings of the people, and he beheld that the people who were for Coriantumr were gathered together to the army of Coriantumr, and the people who were for Shiz were all gathered together to the army of Shiz. Wherefore they were for the space of 4 years gathering together the people, that they might get all who were upon the face of the land, and that they might receive all the strength which was possible that they could receive. And it came to pass that when they were all gathered together, every one to the army which he would, with their wives and their children, and both men, women, and children, being armed with weapons of war, having shields and breastplates and headplates, and being clothed against the manner of war, they did march forth one against another to battle. And they fought all that day, and conquered not. And it came to pass that when it was night, they were weary, and retired to their camps. And after they had retired to their camps, they took up a howling and a lamentation for the loss of the slain of their people. And so great were their cries, their howlings, and lamentations, that it did rend the air exceedingly. And it came to pass that on the morrow they did go again to battle, and great and terrible was that day. Nevertheless they conquered not, and when the night came again, they did rend the air with their cries and their howlings and their mournings for the loss of the slain of their people. And it came to pass that Coriantumr wrote again an epistle upon Shiz, desiring that he would not come again to battle, that he would take the kingdom and spare the lives of the people. But behold, the spirit of the land had ceased striving with him, and Satan had full power over the hearts of the people, for they were given up unto the hardness of their hearts and the blindness of their minds, that they might be destroyed. Wherefore they went again to battle, and it came to pass that they fought all that day, and when the night came they slept upon their swords, and on the morrow they fought even until the night came, and when the night came they were drunken with anger, even as a man who is drunken with wine, and they slept again upon their swords, and on the morrow they fought again, and when the night came they had fallen by the sword, save it were 52 of the people of Cormantor, and 69 of the people of Shiz. And they came to pass that they slept upon their swords that night, and on the morrow they fought again, and they contended in their mights with their swords and with their shields all that day. And when the night came, there was 32 of the people of Shiz, and 27 of the people of Cornantrum. And it came to pass that they ate and slept and prepared for death on the morrow, and they were large and mighty men, as to the strength of men. And it came to pass that they fought for the space of 3 hours, and they fainted with the loss of blood. And it came to pass that when the men of Coriantumr had received sufficient strength that they could walk, they were about to flee for their lives. But behold, Shiz arose, and also his men, and he swore in his wrath that they would slay Coriantumr, and he would perish by the sword. Wherefore he did pursue them, and on the morrow they did overtake them, and they fought again with the sword. And it came to pass that when they had all fallen by the sword, save it were Coriantumr and Shiz, behold, Shiz had fainted with loss of blood. And it came to pass that when Coriantumr had leaned upon his sword, that he rested a little, he smote off the head of Shiz. And it came to pass that after he smote off the head of Shiz, that Shiz raised his hands and fell, and after that he struggled for breath, and he died. And it came to pass that Coriantumr fell to the earth, and became as if he had no life. And the Lord spake unto Ether, and said unto him, Go forth. And he went forth, and beheld that the words of the Lord had been fulfilled, and he had finished his record, and the 100th part I have not written. It seems a pity he did not finish, for after all his dreary former chapters of commonplace, he stopped just as he was in danger of becoming interesting. The Mormon Bible is rather stupid and tiresome to read, but there is nothing vicious in its teaching. Its code of morals is unobjectionable. It is smooched from the New Testament, and no credit given.